Hi, what's up?
Hey, sorry to interrupt if you're busy, but you down for an abortion debate?
Sure, what's up?
All right. Well, I was watching the debates you're doing over at the university campus on abortion.
Uh-huh.
Um, Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we have very similar views on abortion, but there's a point in time during gestation where you believe a fetus has developed enough human characteristics or enough valuable qualities where it would be immoral to abort the fetus, correct?
If the quality you're talking about is the capacity to deploy a conscious experience, then yes.
Okay, yeah, so just like basically sentience, but pre sentience, you're against abortion.
Yes.
Okay, the issue I see with that is that in our previous vegan debate, you said the ability to have language is the property which would grant a creature the right to life. So at that stage of gestation, the fetus doesn't have the capacity for language. So the only way I can see you not having a contradiction on that issue is if you have some sort of like future concept, or because in the future the fetus will eventually have the ability of language. That would be one way to avoid that contradiction. But at the same time, in one of your debates, you said even if like the baby is gonna die after a few months after birth, you still think that's actually it's worth saving.
Okay,
So,
when I said language, what was I saying there again?
well, you gave me a specific definition of language, but in any case, I think we can agree a fetus at say 6 months gestation, which in all likelihood has developed sentience at that point, wouldn't have the ability to use language in the form that you're talking about.
When I said language though, what did I say again?
So you told me that it is okay to kill a being that does not have the capacity to either use or understand language.
Okay. So when we say use or understand language, what were we talking about again?
Well, I was running the name the trait reductio on you, and you came to the language trait.
Yeah, but when I said language, talk to me a little bit about what am I saying when I say language? I explained this last time. I want to see if we're on the same page.
You eventually gave me a specific definition of language. I can't remember what it was, but
Do you have any idea at all about like what I was talking about when I
well,
said language, or do you think I really meant literally just the ability to speak a language?
no, like understand as well. Like somebody might be able to understand what's being told to them, but not necessarily speak it, or have some sort of other ability to communicate, like sign language, something like that.
Gotcha.
There were
Okay.
several, like there were like I looked it up. There are several. There are like five different criteria for what you would consider language. But
Yeah.
like
So
again, regardless, a fetus, say at 6 months gestation, which would be sentient, would not have the ability for that type of language.
um, I'm not sure if that's the case. Don't know if that is the case. I
You
don't think
don't know
that's
if
the
a
case.
6 month fetus has the ability to use language or understand language. Like, what about a newborn baby? Say, just came out of the mother's womb. You think a newborn baby could use or understand language?
Okay, I'm gonna give this definition and I'm gonna see if you can repeat this back to me, okay? With your own understanding, okay? Are you ready?
Okay.
When I talk about humans being able to use and understand language, I'm not talking about a I'm not talking about a Pavlovian response to hearing a word and having an immediate physical reaction to it, like bad and you get scared, or
I
food
understand.
and you salivate. When I
Yeah,
talk about language, I'm talking about the semantic understanding that exists inside the human mind that is a
yeah,
prerequisite
correct.
condition, yes, to having a human conscious experience that allows one to understand complicated syntactical and grammatical things that we use in language. So, for instance, me being
Right,
able
and
to
I would
say,
argue a 6 month old fetus does not have that capability.
Okay. I don't know 100% the mental capacities, I guess, of a 6 month old fetus, but
What
my
about it?
understanding is
What
that
about it? Dude,
am I gonna
what about a
finish?
new?
Okay, go ahead.
Well, wait. For one thing, I'd like to know when you think sentience begins during
I don't know what sentience
gestation.
doesn't mean anything. I don't know what sentience means. I say consciousness. I don't know what sentience means. I don't even know if that's like
Well,
a real word or real
consciousness and
definition.
sentience are interchangeable. It's just the ability to have a subjective experience.
Okay, we'll say consciousness then, because I don't know who
Okay.
uses sentientness or
Uh,
sentience. I don't know.
well, okay, we can use the word consciousness. So, like, when do you think a fetus develops consciousness during gestation? Um,
So my understanding is that the parts of the brain that are formed in order and then communicating with each other that are necessary that we believe to have a conscious experience are formed roughly in like the 20 to 24 week window.
okay.
From what I've read, that's what I'm saying.
Sorry, can you say that again? Just
That the
so.
parts of the brain that are required, that we believe are required to deploy a conscious experience, are formed in like this 20 to 24 week window. That's about when
Oh,
we would
okay,
expect.
so roughly like 5 to 6 months.
Sure.
I would be a little. I would actually go back further than you would suggest. I have reasons for that, but whatever. Let's just agree on a 5 to 6 month window. What evidence do you have that a 5 to 6 month old fetus has the capability to either use or understand language?
Because the ability to have these concepts in our mind seems to be some like prerequisite thing that we have for conscious experiences as humans. It seems to be something that all humans are endowed with, even at a relatively early age. Although there are some concepts I think that we pick up like a couple years into our development, but
Okay, you understand there are feral children where, by the age of, say, I think it's between 8 and 10, where they've never been spoken to, they don't have the capacity for language. They can understand words, they can be, like, told bad, and they will understand, like, they shouldn't have done that. Or they can be shown, like, food, and they'll know what food means, but they can't understand things like grammar, syntax, like they can't understand language to that degree that you're talking about. So it's not like, yeah, humans do have an ability to develop language, but it's something that has to be learned. It's not something that's literally innate. Like, we have the
um,
capacity to
yeah, the
eventually learn it.
capacity I think is innate.
Oh,
I'm
okay,
sure that,
so
like, for instance, like we have the innate capacity to like have legs and walk and move. But I'm sure if somebody is born and you stick them in a chair their entire life and they never move, like maybe those muscles completely and totally atrophy off and they're gone forever and they
sure.
can't actually recover. I'm sure that's,
Okay, so now the trait is capacity to learn language.
um, it's having the prerequisite structures in your mind to be able to comprehend language.
Well, like prerequisite structures in your brain to be able to understand language?
Yeah, it's not just being able to speak it or understand it. It's
Oh,
that the
okay.
fact
Well,
that
then that's easy. Then you'd be in favor of killing babies.
okay.
Well, you would. They do not have the structures in their brain to be able to understand language. Their brain isn't developed yet. That's why it isn't until like around like what, 2 years old or three that children begin talking and saying "mama," "papa," like basic words. And it's not until a little while later that they actually end up developing the capacity for language. So, do you think it's ethical to kill like a
Have
newborn
you
baby or a
ever
1 year old
interacted with
child?
a baby in your life?
I have, and I know
Do you
for a
think that
fact.
it's at 2 years old when they first begin to understand language?
Well, at the capacity you're talking about, but I mean, like, at around like 1, 1.5, 2, like that's when they start speaking their first words, like "mama," "papa." Like they just, but that's just words. So at that point, you would be okay with killing them because they do not have the structures in their brain yet that give them the capacity to understand language or use it.
Okay. One more time. When I say language, what am I talking about?
Well, again, you're talking about things like syntax, grammar, not just some like emotional or visceral understanding that like a
Yeah, so
word
then
has a
why are you going
situation.
by the I would be okay with killing these babies because they don't like speak a language yet. But I'm not necessarily
Well,
talking
they
about
don't
just
have the structures. Do you think there's a reason why, like a half, like sorry, a like 6 month old child can't understand like grammar? They can't put a sentence together. It's because they don't have the capacity in their brain. They don't have the requisite structures yet.
are you sure they don't just have the capacity but they're in the process of learning it?
Look, if no, they don't. They do not have the
So you think that they
requisite
develop the
structure.
capacity to learn language and then do it instantaneously, like at 6 months or
No,
whatever, as soon as they have
there's a
the.
process. No, listen, there's a process of development. Their brain does not have the structure capable yet of understanding language. Like you'd have to, like, you can talk to any uh like childhood neural development specialist. Um, they do not have the structures in their brain. Like, there's a reason why, like, you talked to a child development specialist at one point on your stream. She was talking about how some parents, they will refuse to like acknowledge a kid screaming when they're like 2, 3 years old or something, and she was explaining they literally do not have this, like, the brain capacity to understand how to be manipulative yet. Like, these structures in their brain just simply aren't there to allow them to be able to understand language. Yeah, I agree, it's like there's developmental processes to this, but you would have to agree at that stage in development they do not have the structures to be able to understand or use language.
Um, to use language, yes.
Understand
Ha-
or use.
to having the underlying parts of the brain necessary to facilitate an understanding of the complicated things that we like call to mind when we use language. My understanding is that that's in place, like it basically right around when your conscious experience develops. We might have difficulty expressing it, like kids can't speak because they either haven't learned enough vocabulary yet, they don't have the muscle movement or coordination to do it, or they're still like learning all sorts of other things. But I don't think that it's like all of a sudden at 6 months the child gains like awareness of
I'm not
like
saying that.
other times and places. But that's what I'm talking about when I say language. You keep focusing on like, can
No.
they speak yet? I'm not talking about can
No,
you
I'm not.
speak.
Do you have any evidence that a 6-month-old child has the ability to understand grammar or syntax?
I, you're saying syntax, and that's literally the opposite side of what I'm talking about, which is semantic understanding.
You literally just explained that part of language is things like grammar, syntax. Do you have any evidence that a 6-month-old child
Wait, hold on.
has
Did
the
I
ability?
actually say, hold on? If I said that, then I misspoke. I don't believe that I said that. Did I say, if I said grammar or syntax, I was wrong. What I'm
You
saying is
used
semantic understanding. I thought the word I used was, the phrase that I used was semantic understanding.
Okay, can you
Semantics are what
explain
we're
what
talking
semantic
about.
understanding?
Yeah,
Just explain to
so
me what semantic understanding means.
semantic understanding is like having an awareness of what is being spoken about. Have you heard of like Searle's computer room experiment?
No, explain it to me, please.
That like so I think that Searle was I think a philosopher guy, a neurophilosopher, I don't know. But basically the idea is, let's say that you have a person in a room and you feed them a piece of paper, and that piece of paper has them like translating. I think it's like Chinese characters or whatever. So they get the paper, they translate it perfectly, and they always spit the answer back. They can answer any question, they can do anything like that. And they do it flawlessly because they've got a machine inside that helps them do it. But they don't actually know what it is they're doing. They're just translating as you're asking them to. I'm butchering the explanation of this. But the question basically I think that Searle poses is there a difference between them being able to syntactically answer everything perfectly correct? Let's say they have that ability to do that, but semantically, do they have an actual understanding of what they're doing? When a person says dog and a person is able to syntactically answer, oh, a dog is brown, do they have an understanding of what brown is? Or a dog is fluffy? Do they have an understanding of what fluffy is? Or
Okay,
Sarah's going to be
so
right. That the difference. So semantics, the semantic understanding of something is different than like a syntactic. Like here's like the necessary words or things. The semantic is having an awareness of or an understanding of a thing.
the only requirement for language, understanding or using it for you, that would grant a creature moral worth would be semantic understanding.
I never said that at all. I just said that for human
I'm
conscious
just
experiences, it seems to be the case that we have a special ability that is granted to us by structure of our brain, that we have a greater semantic understanding of aspects of the world, like things like time and place, that no other creature on the planet seems to have.
Okay, again, the point I'm trying to make here is that you have made the argument in your abortion debates that conscious fetuses, like during the conscious stages of fetal development, you believe those fetuses have a right to life where outside of other, like, moral issues, like maybe cases of rape or something, it would be immoral to kill that fetus. Um,
Yeah,
and
there might be a
yeah,
way you might be able to back it up
so
to or move it forward to like a different spot, maybe at like 7 months or 8 months or 1 year. But that seems to be like the safest spot if your
sure,
goal is to
sure,
protect human life. That's probably the safest spot.
right,
Maybe yeah. I haven't
right,
seen
but
like compelling neurological evidence. It's like, well, they actually don't have a full conscious experience at this age. Because if I did, then maybe I would change my mind on it. But I've never heard or seen that before.
Right, but the point I'm trying to make is, like, I see a contradiction here because in the debate I had with you about veganism, where I asked you to name the trait, and you settled on the trait of language, you gave me a bit of a different explanation of language at the time, and now it seems like you settled on this idea of semantic understanding of
No, this
language.
is the exact same conversation we've had before, and it's the exact same definition I gave you. You're just really hung up on language meaning to speak words.
No,
Because
no,
I
I'm
don't think
not.
you believe that humans
I
have a
never
special
said
understanding
that.
of the world that is unique from other animals, like knowing different things in different times and places. These are things that no animal on the planet, not dolphins or elephants or anything, seem to be able to conceptualize. Like
Wait,
humans have a
can
unique
you give
ability
me
to
an
do it.
example of something that a human can conceptualize that an animal can't? Like, you said
Yeah,
time
so
and
like
place.
conceptualizing like negatives are things like something won't be there. That like the fact that our ability to conceive of something not being in a place seems to be a unique thing that no other animal can do. Or being able to say like
Um,
John will be in this place tomorrow. Having the semantic understanding of that in your brain communicated only through language seems to be only something that humans can do. Not elephants, not dolphins, no other animal, not chimpanzees or apes or anything can conceptualize those things the way that
I
humans can.
okay, well, with the explanation that you just gave, or the example you just gave, that sounds hard to believe because animals will choose to, say, hunt in one spot as opposed to others, or they'll migrate knowing there's food there where there's food, like there isn't food somewhere else. Like squirrels will look in areas where they did in fact plant nuts, but like not plant nuts in other areas. Like, so I don't agree with the examples you provided. But like, again, I'd like a more succinct definition of what you
So,
mean
okay,
by
well, this is
language,
kind
because
of
that's what
important because it's kind
the
of the center point of my thing. So, when you say you don't agree with the examples you provide, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to explain this to you, okay? But there is a difference between like I can build a machine that can do if then statements. What you're talking about are like very simplistic if then statements, like a squirrel remembering a spot where they buried a nut, or something knowing like instinctually they're driven to migrate because one area is cold or warm. That's different than having a complicated semantic understanding of everything that's going on, right? You can build very sophisticated systems. Look at how well you can train dogs to do things like shepherding animals and stuff. You can build very sophisticated systems of if-then statements. But having the semantic understanding of what's going on to build more sophisticated things are beyond the reach of any animal we've ever seen. That we in all of our
okay.
experimentation.
It sounds like you're like talking about existential thoughts as
Okay.
opposed to language specifically. Like, again, can you give me an example of, say, a human use of language where they're, like, I don't know, describing the property of something, or
I
there's
don't
an
know. I feel like
understanding of a property or something that an animal wouldn't be able to have.
I feel like I already gave you like if you didn't understand any of the examples I gave, I
Okay,
don't know.
okay, well, let's just make this easy. 6
Like if
month.
I could never tell a dog like grandpa is not home. Grandpa is not here. Like animals can't understand counterfactuals.
I know you can. You certainly can.
No, you can't.
You certainly can. You should look up. They have these buttons where they allow dogs and cats to communicate, and they can actually
Yes,
understand
every
what the
single one
buttons.
of those are fake. Those are not real.
No, they're
I
not.
can't
No,
believe
they are
yeah.
real. No, they are
Oh
real.
man. You
No,
believe the TikTok videos with the cat with the 52 button map? You think those are real?
I don't know about I don't know which cat specifically you're talking about, but no, they can actually understand the meaning of certain words like gone, or away, or in, like, in a certain place, like park. So no, they can.
Yes, I
Um
agree with what you're saying there, but again, those are very simplistic, like Pavlovian understandings. That's
Okay, so
different
do you
than
think
having a cement.
6-month-old fetus has a complicated understanding of a word like a counterfactual?
That's my understanding is they have the ability to, yes. Now maybe they haven't developed the language, the actual words yet to like start to get those concepts,
Okay, do you have
or they're
any
still like
evidence of
learning
that?
offhand. No, I don't.
Okay, so do you have any evidence that a newborn baby has an understanding of, say, a counterfactual?
I don't have anything
You
right
don't
now.
have
No.
so you don't have any evidence whatsoever. You couldn't even point me in any direction.
You can Google like when do we start to understand language, or where do communication skills come from, or newborn ability to conceptualize things. I don't know. You can start googling around for it or looking for it. But I mean, I don't
Oh,
know. I don't
okay,
have a document linked of like Discord links ready to go
it
to hammer off our vegan debates like you guys do. No.
it honestly sounds to me like you're making things up because I don't know anybody in their right mind who would think that a newborn baby would understand a concept like a counterfactual.
Okay, but you were just telling me that you think dogs can understand counterfactuals. So I don't know if I'm going to take your like personal intuitive
Okay,
feeling on this
well,
as to being
dogs,
correct or
well,
not.
like a dog has a bit more intelligence than a newborn baby, though.
I don't know if that's true. That's
Yeah, that is
probably not
true.
true.
No, that is true. I think I think like it depends on which source you're looking at, but they have between the intelligence of like a 1 to I think up to a 3-year-old child, depending on the source, and pigs are a bit more.
That
They're
okay,
usually
whatever you're
estimated
talking. No,
between
no, no,
3 and
no,
5.
no. Absolutely not. That is ridiculous. A 3 to 5 year old human can already use more language than any animal in the history of all of mankind has ever been recorded. A 3 year old already can. That's just impossible. A 2 year
Well,
old
again,
probably can.
there's a bit more to intelligence than just using language. But my point
It's
is, you honestly think a newborn baby has more intelligence than, say, a 5-year-old dog, like a border collie, like an extremely intelligent breed?
yeah, probably. I think so. I think it has the capacity for more. I
That's
mean, I don't know how much we
well,
train.
there's difference between capacity and being able to develop their brain more later on, and then learn things, and actually having the ability then and there.
The problem is that at that point, you're not limited by the capabilities of the machine. You just haven't had the training time yet. Like
No, I
like a
would
newborn baby hasn't had the training time to like learn anything, but the structures are there that are probably already more sophisticated. The theory of mind that explains the existence of a newborn's mind is probably already more sophisticated than a 5-year-old border collie that just has a complicated series of Pavlovian if-then statements programmed into its
Okay,
brain to
well, newborn
herd things.
babies literally don't even have the brain structure required to understand a concept like manipulation, and you're telling me they would have the brain structure required to understand counterfactuals. Does that not sound fucking
Manipulation is
ridiculous to you?
I don't know what manipulation can be either really complicated or really simple. What do you mean by that? Like if you're
Well,
gonna say like
well,
babies
like,
cry to bring mom and dad to them, that's kind of manipulation.
well,
I mean,
well, no. The ability to have manipulation is would be the ability to understand that if I cry, I am going to be able to get mom and dad to do something for me. Newborns don't have that capability. You don't see that until kids are several years old, where they can use that to benefit themselves. That's why, like, 5-year-old children, they can like throw a hissy fit and they know, oh, well, I can get a lollipop out of it. Babies cannot do that. And this has been explained to you by a childhood development expert. So again, I
okay.
think it's pretty fucking baffling that at the same time you would agree that a newborn baby doesn't have the ability to conceptualize manipulation, they can somehow conceptualize counterfactuals. Do you not think that's ridiculous?
I would have to figure out what you mean by manipulation. Like you can link me a study and I'll go read it.
You
But
don't know what
like,
manipulation is? You do it quite often.
are you okay?
Are you okay?
Manipulation can be something that you have a sophisticated understanding of or a simplistic understanding of. That's why I don't, when you say manipulation, for instance, there's a lot of adults that are highly manipulative, but even they don't conceptualize that they're manipulative. There might be a woman that cries a lot and she knows when she does it, she gets what she wants, but she's not even cognizant that that's what she's doing. It's just like a thing that she does. She doesn't have like a super high level, sophisticated understanding of being manipulative. It's just a thing that she does and she gets what she wants from it, right? So when you
Well,
say
you're
manipulation, I don't know.
You're
That's why I would have to see like what step, what like you sound like you've got your whole Discord like paste bin ready to go. So if you want to shoot me some of that, I can read it sometime. But no, when you just say understand manipulation, I don't know what you mean by saying understand manipulation. That could mean a lot of different things.
like again, I gave a very basic definition of manipulation. The idea that if I do something, I will get this effect that may benefit me.
So you're saying that
Newborn
when babies
babies do not
cry,
have that ability.
when
They
babies
just
cry, they
cry.
don't.
I don't know who just popped in.
If she says some retarded shit, she's about to get banned from Discord. Good luck. Okay. Well, I mean, if you want to shoot me that whatever you're referring to, I mean, I can read it when I have my time to do it.
Okay, maybe we can pick up this debate later, but I'd like to see some evidence from you that a newborn baby can understand concepts like counterfactuals, which would prove that they actually do have the requisite structures in their brain to either use or understand language, and I can guarantee you're not going to find anything like that.
Why would I go do homework for you?
Well, you're the one making the claim. Do you
You're the
understand
one that
burden of
popped in here
proof?
to debate me. What do
Do
you
you understand
mean?
burden of proof? Do you understand burden
Yeah, the
of proof,
burden of proof
Destiny?
is on the guy that comes in asking to debate. What the fuck?
Okay,
I'm not-
so apparently Destiny can make up whatever fucking claim he wants in a debate, claiming that newborn babies have the capacity for language, but he doesn't have to provide any evidence for that. So that's great. Okay, well we know what caliber of debater you are. This is literally Christian. Like I do the shit with Christian fundamentalists and shit all the time. Well, you're the one who debated me, so you have to prove that God doesn't exist. Like, great, wonderful.
I'm so
3D
sorry.
chess, dude.
I'm actually on the fourth. I'm on the fourth dimension for that, but
All right, well, take care, dude.
okay, I love you. Be careful, but
That was dishonest as fuck, dude. That was insanely dishonest. Hey, what's up, dude?
Hey, I'm not here for debate. I just wanted to point out something.
Sure.
Big fan, by the way.
Thanks.
I was literally, funny fact, I was literally studying the exact same lecture for my finals.
Oh, yeah?
And yeah, literally, like I was literally reading the exact same. I'm just gonna read through. The baby's ability to just understand, not understand, just let me just say the noticing the change, recognition of language sounds. I'm sorry, my heart is rushing right now.
Yeah, sure.
The recognition, just ability to distinguish the words from the consciousness sound. Like, it's not even the understanding what language is. The baby's literal ability to recognize those people are talking something rather than just random sounds from the universe.
Okay. So they have the ability to understand that somebody's talking rather than just a random sound.
Yes.
Okay.
That ability, it's probably like after 6 months they get that ability, and not only that.
After
Yes,
6
not on.
months, so when they're
Yes,
newborns, they can't even distinguish.
they can't even distinguish what the
Wow.
sounds mean. Like, it's not like something like baby cries and someone comes and take care of the baby. It's not like that kind of simplicity. The claims of destiny is extremely, for a baby, extremely
Yeah.
difficult.
There's no way.
There's no, like, not even a biological stance. Like, there is no Broca or there's no vertical section in that brain, temporal lobe or frontal lobe. It didn't even develop yet. Like, it's completely meaningless claims at the
Yeah.
end of the day.
Yeah.
The ability to distinguish difference in the consciousness sound, it's perfectly forms at 8 months.
Okay.
They are able to distinguish words
So
from flow.
like
at 8
like
months.
it's insane. Like he's even attributing language abilities to 6-month-old fetuses, like who aren't even
Yes.
born yet. Like it's just crazy what he's claiming.
Mm.
And then when I demand for him to provide evidence, he just refuses and says, "Well, you provide the evidence." Well, if I provide the evidence, he's just gonna still fucking disagree.
Well,
Um,
the claim is not yours even.
yeah,
Like,
I know, and I know it's not even my claim; it's his. And then he
yes.
just refuses to provide evidence, and I guaranteed him he couldn't find any. And you can't. Like the idea that a fucking newborn is gonna understand what a counterfactual is—it's just crazy. They
Yes.
don't even know what what talking is.
He literally believes that a 6 months old baby can understand what language or ability to think or understand perspective language. If I didn't,
Yeah,
uh,
there's no
yeah,
way. And he's had children.
like
Like that's what's especially crazy about it.
like like I said, there's no even biological possible stand for this claim.
Yeah,
Like,
they
thank you.
literally don't have the structures in the brain to be able to do that.
Yeah, thank you. I just wanted to point out that.
Yeah.
Sorry for my bad language. It's not even that bad, but I'm yeah, like I said, a big fan. Thank
All
you.
right. Well, thanks, dude. Thanks for coming on. Take care.
Take care.